All right, we'll do a quick run through of me building this deck. That's why I ain't been doing much cutting. I did a little bit over there. I've got a little short clip it of my neighbors. It's see that big limb right there cut off right in there. I did that. They done already got all the brush up. It was just a takedown only. It didn't take me long. He just wanted it cleaned up enough to get in his driveway without beating his cars to death. But anyway, so I've been working on this deck, and show you how I do it and keep it simple, or it's somewhat simple, easy way to set post. And of course, I worked in construction pretty much all my life and cut on the side for a long while. But this is kind of more my forte. And like anything, I'm not perfect at it, but well enough to get by. Because this ain't the type of construction I do anymore. But I've done it for a while. But I built pole barns, garages, however you want to call it. Some people call them shops, barns, garages, pole barns, post frame buildings. And the main thing to do is when you're building something like that, set batter boards up and run strings, and it makes life so easy. You know, it really helps you out. And I put the rubber on this old porch here because it leaked, the concrete slope, and this is the whole reason for this. We was going to tear all this down, and I got some roofing material from where I work. We do commercial roofing, flat roofings like warehouses, Walmarts. Not really Walmarts, but that type of roof, flat roofing, not shingles. I don't know crap about shingles, and that sounds odd for a roofer not to know much about shingles, but I don't know enough to get me in trouble. But anyway, so I put this on here to dry this up. And do what? I am sexy out here video. But I put this on here, and this is Cricut material. Because this back here, like the last 2 foot of this held water really bad and leaked in between the porch and the basement, rather. So we were going to tear this completely down, and then it's going to be a lot of work. So we decided to cover it up with a bigger deck. And we're going 16 by 30, and I've got my batter boards down there, my batter boards here. And typically, if you're starting out in a square opening or building something like a building or whatever, you'd have 4 of them, but I only have 2 because this is my starting point right here. And it just helps you. I always set it 1.5 inches bigger or 2 inches bigger or whatever, and then pull it 2 inches off the line, because if you set your line tight to what you want to build it, if you get one post a little bit out, it pushes that line out, and as you go down through there, if you push that line out an 1/8 of an inch or whatever, 1/4 inch, whatever it may end up being, and you've got 6, 7, or you're doing a fence, 10 posts, by the time you get down to the end, you can be out several inches. So that's kind of the gist of how I do that. And typically I just dig my holes 2 foot or so, add a little bit of Sackcrete. I just throw it in there dry and wet it later, and it sets up plenty well. That's how we done it when we built barns or whatever, so that's the way I do it now. And it's easy to do. I did all this pretty well, set the post pretty well by myself. I had a little bit of help on these that was going in these post things, because we got concrete footers there and whatnot from the old step. So instead of digging holes or busting that concrete, I decided to attach to it. And when you do this kind of stuff, when you're finding square, you want to you get your measurement. Like I got the 16 foot by 30 foot way, but you want to make sure you're square and you're not out of square. And how you do that is you go from one corner to the next corner and you pull a measurement. And a lot of people that does it all the time know the measurement that it's already supposed to be for what structure they're doing. but I've not done it in a while, and I'm not that, it's one of the things you don't do it every day, you can't remember it. But you go from that corner to that corner, you make an X measuring, and you want to get the same measurement. Like I think I had 29.1 to the concrete here. I just want to make sure this porch was square, and that's what I went off of. I think I had 29.1 diagonally, and then 29.1 or something like that. And it's 11 by 30 or something is what this was poured out to be. Or 12 by 30, I can't remember exactly, but 11.6, something like that. Whatever it works out in the block. But yeah, that's a quick rundown of how I do that. And then when I'm shooting grade, which I mean, I'm not like doing dirt work or doing concrete or nothing, just fancy. But you can buy one of these little Transit at Harbor Freight for, I don't know even how much they are now. But anyway, it's a little laser level. You just get it level. You turn this, and it's got like a bubble on the stand, a bubble on this yellow thing, and then the bubble here. Try to get them all really close, and then that way when you get up here, you want this level to be running level everywhere you turn it to. You know, as you work it around, you want that bubble to be as level as you can get it, and that'll get you really, really close. And so what I'll do is I spin it around, check for level. I know this ain't very good, I'm doing it one-handed. Then I'll turn it on and set it on the post. And I've already done it once, and we'll see how close my, golly, I can't get it right, one-handed. See, there we are, there's my crow's foot. I don't know if you can see the laser. Yeah. And I've spun that around all that time, and I come back here and I'm still sitting true, so that's pretty good. And I want the top of my 2x10 here to be right here. That's my starting point. So what I'll do is I'll go around and shoot all these posts, every one of them, make a crow's foot, and then whatever that measurement is from here to here, I will pull down to that, and it should all be the same. Seeing it sitting right here. Well, I don't know if y'all can see it. Can't hardly see it, but anyway, just trust me. I get my pencil. I've got brake to clean up. I blew a line on my tractor. That's another thing we're going to talk about, but y'all can barely see it later. Just take it, make a crow's foot. Like say, if that's 20 inches from there to there, or whatever it may be, that's what I'll pull down here, pull down there, and so on and so forth. And that's how I get my bands set. And I'll check it with the level as I go, just to make sure something is not terribly off. And you can use a level, you know, they make long levels, some people have them. I've got a 6-foot level. It's a cheap one. I don't, you know, really trust it as well as I do a better one. I've got I think this is an Empire here, which is not the best level in the world, but it's pretty good. I like it because in dark spaces, it's got a, well, it had it. I don't know if it's working or not. May have run the battery down, but anyway, it illuminates, it glows, and you can see your bubbles really good. But anyway, I don't use a level. I use that Transit instead because of you know, I'm doing 10-foot stuff here, and I'm only got a 4-foot level. So, you know, you can be pretty level, or even if you're hugging the line in 4 foot, say you're a 1/4 inch out in 4 foot, you're going out to that 10 foot, you're a 1/2 inch out, or whatever, you know, dang near it, a little more. So that's why I typically don't use setting the level up there. I've done it like that before. but I don't typically do it. And I will do it just to check it to make sure, you know, like I'll get my measurement, set my first band up there, tack it, and I'll set it on there and make sure I don't have like an inch fall or something like that. Make sure something ain't just terribly wrong. But the main thing is, you know, and right here I'm using 16-foot stuff. So you set that 4-foot level on a 16-footer. If you're down, say you're hugging the line, and you raise it up to get it level, you're a 1/4 inch. You know, at 16 foot, you're 3/4. So that's kind of how that works, and that's why I do it. That's why I ain't done terribly a lot of cutting or a lot of saw stuff. I've done a little bit of pedaling, sharpening some chains, and we've got some stuff coming in. A new saw coming in, and I got some new oil I'm going to try out and stuff like that. But right now I need to get this done. Insurance is wanting it done because I started this project a long time ago and got busy doing other things. And of course, as anybody that does stuff full time, you know, like I've done so much of this. This used to be my side gig, building decks. And I'll try to find, I've got a page on Facebook, and I'll try to find some pictures of some decks I've built and whatnot and throw them up here. And I've done remodels and stuff like that on side, framing, trimming out houses, and you know, different like things. Setting doors, interior doors, and things like that. I did that for a buddy. Pretty much finished. Me and my wife and my brother pretty much finished the whole inside of the house. So, you know. Anyway, that's kind of what I've been up to. I'm eventually going to tear that carport down because it just collects all my junk. And I've got to get this cleaned up back here. That's crap that come off the porch and stuff we've hoarded. It's kind of, you hate to throw it away because you think you might need it, but then you might, it's kind of junk in a sense too. So it's one of them like deals. And then we had the pool right out there, and we're wanting to revamp this. We worked on the front yard and the side yards. Now we're trying to get this back here like we want it. But we had a pool there. There's all the railing cut down. I got to haul that crap to the dump. But we want to make it like a fire pit and a swing and something like that. You know, stuff that women like, shit like that. So anyway, we'll catch y'all later. And typically, if you're going to do, I like bracing everything up where it stays sturdy while you're working. You know, I can wiggle that pretty good and it don't move one way or the other. I like keeping it like that, like using old stuff, and that's what I'd advise if you're going to build something. If you don't have scrap lumber laying around, which I had some scrap lumber laying around, I would advise when you order your package, there's my lumber package I figured out. When you order your package, I would figure in a little extra for bracing and whatnot. And those concrete stobs, pins, whatever you want to call them, they really help out for framing and bracing stuff up because you can just knock it back out. And I've done it the old school way where you cut a 2x down and, you know, make a stob out of a 2x, but them stobs are a lot better. You can get them out, easy to drive, and they hold just as well, really. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to work and I'll show you the progress as we go along. See y'all. All right, guys, what's going on? Second part of my deck build. I've got some of the joist in. I still like that half. It's kind of building it in two halves. But I showed you before how I set my post and got the batter boards up and squared everything up and whatnot. And you know, you can take them down once you get the post set. You got braces on. Once you get these bands on, and depending on if you're doing a roof or not, I kind of do it different. I'm not doing a roof right now, but I would maybe leave those braces on until I got the band on, then take them off. That way you can move the post kind of where you need them as far as measurements and whatnot. Because really, no matter how perfect you try to make it, when you brace the stuff with the stobs, everything has a little bit of movement and whatnot. I did get the concrete in there and get it wet. I still got to finish adding dirt in there. Typically on things, I drill the holes about 2.5 foot, just for a porch or a deck or whatever. On this one, we're using 6x6s because we wanted it to, you can use 4x4s, but just you know, on a big deck like this, they kind of look puny, you know what I mean? And we like the 6x6 look, that way I can cap it with a 2x6 for the hand railing, and we're going to use hog panels or cattle panels for the actual like railing system. Of course, it'll be wood on top and bottom, but anyway, I set my joists on 2-foot centers. Here I use 2x10s. You know, a lot of people would use a 2x8 and go 16-inch on centers, and that's fine as well. I didn't use joist hangers here. I just capped it with a 2x, because to me it takes like 16, 15 or so to get across this 30-foot, and I did a little more because, and I'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, to me a 2x is cheaper, and really the way I do it, I screw them in through the back of this. There's no need in, I'm sorry I'm moving so much. That's just to let it to rest on, you know what I mean? I did use joist hangers up here on this side, and I'll show you, just to help hold them. And then I toe nail in a lot anyhow, so, and I put kick braces in. And that's the whole reason why I went 2x10s, 2-foot on centers. Because no matter what you use, if I would have put these 2x10 16-inch on centers, you still got to put, or you ain't got to, but I've got kick braces in here on the bottom. See them? I've got 2, and I've got them all the way on every joist. And the reason I do that is to keep the bounce out, the wobble, the shake. Like, there's no echo, there's no give to it. And typically, I've seen guys build decks, and they'll use 2x10s every 16-inch on center or whatever, and they don't put no bracing in the middle, and you get, over time you get sag, and then you get bounce. If somebody walks out the door right there, then you can feel it bounce plumb over here, is what I'm getting at. And I got me some more stuff from work to finish drying this in. And the whole reason for this deal, this all used to be brick. You know, the whole deck did, the steps did, everything was brick with iron railing. And the problem is, you know, this concrete was unlevel and it held water back there, so I got me some Cricut material from work and did all this. But anyway, to keep the water shedding off from under it. And we're going to tear all this down, but then, you know, you get into trying to keep the brick on the house and everything, so we just decided to go over it, go bigger. And probably we was going to use that lattice to do the bottom, to enclose it. But probably what I'll do is end up boarding and batting it, just keeping it solid through there, you know, make it solid closed in where you can't see under it, and may even you know, I don't know, but yeah, probably board and batting it's what I'll do. The 2-foot on center for the deck boards, you know, it's not bad. They don't have a lot of give, really. I told my wife if it ever became a problem, that when we go to replace these deck boards, because after so many years, you know, things give out, deck boards, you know, even though it's treated, you know, stuff wears out. Then we might go back with 2x6s. But honestly, it's not bad. There's no give in it. And I've done 2-foot centers before on different stuff. But also, like I say, I go through and put kick braces. And I went into the brick. I got me like some long screws from work and got a 3/16 hammer drill bit. Went plumb through the brick and went into the wood, the seal of the house. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not attached just to that brick. I'm attached to the wood in the house. But I also put kick braces on these all through here, all down through this. In the center of every joist, I put kick braces. I'll back that up a little bit. But yeah, I put kick braces in the center of every joist. I'm sorry it's moving so much. But, you know, that's just the way I do things. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it's always worked for me. And there's a squirrel down there on the truck. I don't know if it's, yeah, see it? We are squirrel crazy up here. Them son of a bitches eat wires and everything else. Get out of there. I'm about to go run them off down here. I love watching them, you know what I mean? But I'm not kidding. They'll eat the hell out of everything in your vehicle. I've got to get some steps made. But so yeah, we've been working on, this place was pretty grew up when we bought it, and we've been working on trying to fix everything up in my wife's work truck. But so that's what we had. That was the wrought iron, and yeah, it's messy for sure, but I'm trying to enclose all that. I'm gonna board and batten it. It's going in and out. And honestly, I wished I figured it. I think the lumber company where I got my package at, I got a count there with them, but I should have got a 20 and a 10 footer. And then when I do the railing, broke the brake instead of 3 10s, but I kind of screwed up on that. So, and I figured these for 2 8 footers. I have no idea why I didn't just do 16. But I went and got a few more 2x10s, which lumber's going up because of all the fires in Canada. It's crazy. 3 2x10s I think was $75. And lumber is terribly, there's that tree I got loaded up finally. My neighbors love that shit when I leave it parked there. That's why I do it. But those were $75, I think. This whole lumber package, 70-something deck boards is what I got it figured out to go across there. 9, 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I got 9. I got a post left there. 9 6x6 posts, and how many ever joists I got there are the whole lumber package was like $2,200, $2,500, something like that. Which I get a brake up there for a business account brake. But see, there's the kick braces that I do to keep that thing from wallowing. And what I do when I set those, I'll pick those up, pick the joists up, not a bunch, you know, 1/4 inch or a little more, and screw that, and then let it apply pressure. Because here's the deal with treated wood, all treated wood, or all wood in general, but treated wood especially, when you get that stuff, it's terribly wet. Like some of these deck boards, when I threw them up here yesterday, they had water pouring off of them, like running off of them. And I always crown my 2x10 up, you know, because that's just how you do things when you build. You don't want to crown it down, because then you'll have a sag, and it'll sag worse over time. Those kick braces really help, like I say, especially on long spans. This is 16 foot, so I went 8 foot. 8 foot ain't too bad. You don't get a lot of bounce, but you know, you don't need those kick braces on a small light deck, but on a big one, to me, I think you do. But anyhow, you know, that stuff shrinks, and that's why I put my boards tight. My deck boards, when I screw them, and I'm gonna, oh, y'all bear with me. I ain't got no steps built yet. But I put these things tight. There's one with a little bit of a gap in it. But I try to put these boards tight as I can get them. No crack, no give it all. And what they'll do over time, when they dry, that's how you get your crack. You know what I'm saying? That's how you get your little bitty gap. If you're using that synthetic board, I can't remember what it's called, T-Rex, Trex, or whatever, if it's even called that, you pre-gap them because it's synthetic, it don't shrink. And I've got 2 screws in each one of these joists right now, but I always put 4 in my deck boards, because I do not like deck boards that cup and or, you know, get loose. I countersink the screws, and that's why I use screws, is because everything shrinks. And if you use, you know, nails, once that shrinks, you gotta go back and re-hit them. So I don't do it like that, you know. And then here, this is my center one. I'm gonna break all my boards right here. But I added a kicker 2x4, and I still got this board over on the main joist just a little bit. But I don't like toenailing, because if you split the board right here, you know, 1.5 inches, all you got is 3/4 for each board to sit on. And I like a little more than that, and I like to be able to put my screws further back so you don't split the boards out at the end. It's a little more work, a little more time, but in the long run, it saves you, because you screw at the very end of them boards, they split. And when they split, they won't do it, you you know, at first, but over time, a couple, 2 or 3 years, they'll start to curl and come away, you know, pick up and come out of their screw, because the wood split, there's nothing there to hold it. And so I'm trying to go for longevity here, because I don't want to be messing with this dang thing no more. I want to get back to cutting something. But yeah, that's kind of what we got going on. Like I say, you can save yourself joists. I don't know how much the joist hangers are. They're, you know, $2 or $3, $4 a piece, or whatever they are. By the time you add a bunch of them, it's crap. And it might equal out to be about the same, like say. And you don't have to get, like some people would think you'd have to get a 2x10 joist hanger because you're using a 2x10. You can, but you don't have to if you screw it in through the back or you toenail it. Because really all that joist hanger does is, to me, is helping you help holding that up until you can get it screwed, in a sense. And over time, you know, if the wood pulls or whatever. But anyway, so that's why I was right here. I just use a 2x6 or 2x4 joist hanger. It don't go up all the way, because you can toenail here. And I'm not crazy about that kind of joist hangers. That's all they had when my wife went to go get them, so she says. But they're not the kind I typically use. So anyway, that's kind of what I've been having going on with the deck, for sure. And still got to get a lot of this mess cleaned up. We've worked on since we lived here, you know, we've worked on the 2 side yards and worked on the front yard. Now we're trying to move around here and kind of get it like we want it. I'm gonna build the steps out here, go have one set going that way, one set going that way, and eventually I'm gonna tear that brick wall down, I think, and try to slope that grade to where it's not like that, you know, make it a gradual slope. And plus, by the time we do our landscaping and stuff, we're not gonna have much to do. I may just put some riprap rock all the way down through there or something. And I'm gonna try to pour me a wall up there, dig that out. I've got that dug out some. I made a mess here. But pour me a little concrete retaining wall right here, even with this sidewalk, and even with the pavement there and this sidewalk. And then we're going to fill that up with sand or stone or something. Pavers. Build a fire pit, swing, gazebo type deal or something. So I'm told, so that's what we're doing. I've got to get my bush hog, get my trailer out here. I think I'm going to take it up to the wood lot. That ain't my trailer anymore, but I'm going to have to get it gone. And I'm probably going to get rid of the carport too. That carport, I bought it pretty cheap at an auction. I thought it'd be handy, but it collects a lot of junk. And what I may end up doing is building me a shop off the end of the house, come all the way out to here or something one day when I get rich and shit. But it's what I like to do. So anyway, we'll catch y'all later. You see all my junk, but it is what it is. I got a lot of projects going on. You got a lot of projects, there ain't no sense in cleaning up, because it just does the deal, you know. You just got to get it right back out. But yeah, that's what I got. And like I say, I used some of these screws from work. I've got to pay for them still yet. And I got 7 pieces of Cricut. And who knows, I probably just let me have them. But I still got more to put in right here. I'll have to drill through and do that and set the joist. It ain't too bad doing it. It's just when you're doing it every step. My help's going on vacation to Panama, so when you're doing every step, it's kind of tough, you know. But we still got more screws to add here. Like I say, I like using 4. Some people use 3, but I like cinching that shit down, make sure it ain't gonna curl up on me. And I don't like bounce. You're gonna have a little because it's wood, but I'm talking about some of that bounce when somebody walks. It jars your teeth out, you know. So anyway, we'll catch y'all later. That's what I've been up to, and I'll keep progress up on this as I go here.